Everything good with you, Chen?
Yep.
I'm just making sure level's good, making sure your mic is good. Yo,
Hey, what's up, man?
welcome back to the Mark Our Words podcast. What's good with you, Chen?
Man, life is good, man.
Life is good. Life is good. Life is good. Today is Halloween. What is your costume?
A black man in America.
Okay. So
A black man will book. You know what they say.
So like tomorrow you're gonna be what then? Because if a black in America is your costume, what is your real self?
No.
Oh man, let me tell you about my day, man.
Yeah, how was your day, man?
Today is Sunday that we're recording this, and I'm leaving church. You know, I'm feeling lifted,
Okay.
and I was like, you know what? I got faith. I'm gonna go to GameStop and get me this PS5.
Why GameStop and not Walmart?
And we about to get to that. I go to GameStop, right? Because I went to the other store while I was waiting for you to get home. And I was getting some other things. And I went to GameStop and I asked the guy, I was like, hey, I'm just coming in for the new PS5, you know? And you know what he said? We don't have it. I said, still? I said, like, it's been a year and everything. Like, what's going on? He said, yeah, man, it's hard to get a hold of them. He said, but you can try Walmart down the street. I'm on Route 40, right? Mm-hmm. I said, oh, thank you. But really inside, I was burning. I was mad, right? Because listen to this. GameStop is the game store. Walmart is not the game store. No. And they, when I want a game, as far as I can remember, I've only been alive for 30 years. Whenever I wanted a game, whenever I wanted a system, I go to the game store. That's GameStop. It got the word game in the title. I just don't understand why he would tell me, he would send me to somebody else's establishment. Oh, check Walmart. No, you should have the game because you're the game store. And then I left this part out because I didn't want to leave empty-handed. I said, I couldn't find any of your PS4 controllers because I should go get another PS4 controller because mine's kind of flimsy now, you know. He said, oh, we out of stock too. That's where he told me to go to Walmart. I'm like, so you don't have the PS5 and you don't have controllers for the PS4. What's the point of GameStop being open?
There's no point.
Shut them all down.
Well,
shut them all down. They don't have games. I don't even know how they still open.
because of Wall Street bets.
There might be money launderings. It may be some dirty activity going on.
Allegedly.
It may be some dirty activity going on. Y'all don't have consoles and y'all don't have controllers?
Allegedly. I don't know. We're not saying that as a fact.
Well, one thing that is a fact is that you can't go to GameStop for games. That's crazy. I mean, go to Walmart, guys. Go to Walmart. But that was my day. That was 2 hours ago.
Do you go to Walmart?
No.
See, you could bid with a PS5 right now.
No, I didn't go to Walmart. If I wanted underwear, some socks, or some groceries, I go to Walmart.
But Walmart is not a clothing store.
Then what is Walmart?
Everything store.
Okay.
That's why they got. That's why they got games. That's why they got TVs.
No.
They got oranges, apples.
They have a
grapes.
Game section. They're not a game store.
They're everything store.
No.
They got a pharmacy.
It's literally like me going to the Toyota.
They got glasses.
Okay.
They got everything.
It's literally like me going to a Toyota dealership, asking for a Toyota car, and them saying, "Oh, check CarMax." It's like
CarMax would have Toyota cars.
I know they would, but Toyota should have Toyota cars too.
I mean, GameStop never been a game. Like, I feel like from the day I remember it, there was always games I couldn't find. I would go to the GameStop and be like, y'all don't got this? I'm like, nah, we just sold out.
That never been the case.
That been the case with me. a couple of times. But I used to buy used games.
You also never brought games when
games.
it first came out.
Yeah.
Exactly. So
I feel like...
So I'm sorry we don't have the 007 GoldenEye for the Nintendo 64. I'm sorry. It's 2021.
Whereas Amazon...
Okay.
I'm just saying, you know? These places, they stay stocked, so... You just gotta be with the times, man. Amazon, man.
I went online.
Walmart, man.
I went online and I saw the price for a PS5 at Walmart, $1,000.
That don't make any sense.
That's what it is. Oh, excuse me, $945
for retail.
For
they can't
Walmart. I'm telling you.
Interesting.
I'm telling you. Now for GameStop, they only have it for $500, but they out of stock. I don't get it, but that was just today. Other than that, my week was good.
That's good.
My week was good.
Yeah, that's a pretty good story, man. I don't think
you don't give a damn about no game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna get it eventually. I'm gonna get it when the Slim come out. PS5 Slim.
Why you keep believing in the Slim? Like there wasn't a PS4 Slim.
There wasn't?
No. Stop looking at your PS4. It's literally the same size I got. There ain't no Slim.
Okay.
There haven't been a Slim since the PS
3.
I think a 3. PS3
this is
had
a
it.
Slim. Because they had the big joint. Anyways, but yeah, I'm gonna wait till the PS5 2.0 comes out. Then I'm a cop one.
Okay.
When it's like $300-$400.
The PS4 right now is $300.
When the PS5 is $300, that's why I'm a cop it.
Okay, thank you. So what's on your mind, man?
Hey, man. I know that we talked about Dave Chappelle and the protests.
Shout out to Dave Chappelle.
And you know, I think, and we also talked about cancel culture recently too. Not recently, but in one of our previous episodes, and it had me thinking, man, is cancel culture actually bad? And should Dave Chappelle be canceled? And what does cancel mean? I don't know. Is Dave Chappelle canceled now?
I don't think he's canceled.
So it's like
I think we need to define like what canceled is and what like backlash is. I think there's backlash to it, but canceled.
I don't think he's canceled.
I think Dave Chappelle has an obsession of wanting to be canceled, but I don't understand why he has that obsession. Like he's like, you know, you can't cancel me, and I'm like, who's trying to cancel you? Like, people just don't like what you're saying.
Yeah, and they're allowed to not like it.
Exactly. So that's why I'm like, I don't understand. I know with his most recent thing, I think it was called Stunted or something like that, to where he was talking about a documentary, but he also was talking about the transgender community, about meeting with them, and he said he'd be happy to meet with them on his terms, rather. Because he won't be summoned. And I said, okay, I feel you. I mean, like, they want to talk to you. So I mean, no, I'm like, they want to talk to you. You get to choose if you want to talk to them. So I feel you on that. But it's this obsession, I think, with Dave specifically, not with the topic in general, but with Dave specifically, that I feel like I don't think anybody's trying to cancel you. I think it's backlash and people not agreeing with what you're saying. People feel like what you're saying because they hold you in high esteem, that they feel like the consequences for that community, because the consequences that come with the transgender community is very specific. It's not, I don't want to misuse my words to say it's not major, but like people die in that community. And what you don't want to do with your words, you don't want to, I'm about to try a big word, you don't want to galvanize other people to feel like they take what you say too far, and now they feel like they are against the trans community. That's not even Dave's point.
Yeah,
that's not even his whole. He's not anti-trans. He's not anti-LGBT plus community. He's not, as far as I know, from my perspective. But people would take it too far. Like I saw a video with Jordan Peterson, and he was talking to a transgender person. And his whole thing was not letting the government dictate the pronouns for for gender.
Yeah.
Because that's an attack on freedom of speech itself.
Yeah.
And while he was talking civil, and the other person was talking civil, right? But Jordan Peterson, which is not his people, but he was on this campus, but the students who was behind Jordan Peterson was getting riled up because they was opposed the transgender community. Jordan Peterson had to turn around a couple of times and be like, it's okay, like I got it. And I think that's what the transgender community is trying to say to Dave, in the sense of, like, okay, even though I don't bang with what you say, somebody will take what you say and try to take power in their own hands and harm me. And like, I think that's unique. I don't deal with that type of flack. I don't have that type of fear that someone's going to harm me because I'm specific. Even though I'm black and stuff like that, I live in Baltimore, so I see mostly black people, even though, white people everywhere. But I think it's worth listening to. I don't know. Yeah,
I mean, I think, the whole trying to battle cancel culture is a thing that most comedians, I don't think it's just a Dave thing. I think it's a comedian thing where all the comedians nowadays are like, oh, you can't cancel me, oh, you can't stop jokes, or I won't do, tours on college campuses because they won't understand comedy, all that stuff, right? And so it's interesting because even when Kevin Hart, when he was going through his backlash during the whole, was it the Oscar nominations?
I think it
Oscar,
was Oscars.
Awards ceremony.
He was the host of Oscars, I think.
And so, all his previous tweets came out and he said, I won't be bullied into apologizing again. And it's like,
okay.
It's like, well, who is these people you trying to like fight? And it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, I mean, you say something that hurts or harms somebody or offends somebody.
Yeah.
They have every right to be offended.
Sure.
I understand the other point where it's like people who get offended, they go too far. Because, with the Daphne situation where she was getting threats and people telling her, you to do harmful things to herself during when she was on Dave Chappelle's comedy tour. I understand, people being upset with that, where it's like, okay, you could be offended, but then don't turn around and then tell somebody to kill themselves. That's wild. Yeah. But outside that, away from that subject, I think people have a right to say, hey, I don't want to see this, or hey, I don't want him on this platform, or hey, I don't want. And the reason why I say that is because it's been happening since the beginning of time. It's just that people call it cancel culture because there's a whole bunch of people doing it versus just a select few. Because back in the day, if you offend somebody, if I offended Dave Chappelle, let's say this comes out, Dave Chappelle hears this and he's like, I don't like what these people are saying about me. And then now, let's say the podcast blows up, we start getting deals. And then people say, yeah, we really like this, man. You know what? We're going to sign you, man. Trust me. And you're like, oh, this seems promising. Then all of a sudden you get a call and it's like, hey, man.
Hey, man.
You do something to Dave, man? And you really like, nah, I don't think so.
I'd be like, I don't know Dave.
Yeah, I never met Dave. It's like, okay, man. All right, well, we might not be able to go through with this deal, man. All right. I was like, okay, that's strange. But people used to blackball people all the time. And so I think now that the power is shifting, especially with social media and people who never had a voice before having a voice now, with the power shifting, people are now being like, oh, I don't only have to kiss this person, behind, or kiss, these people in power or the gatekeepers behind. I also have to kiss the publics behind. And I don't think people like that.
I think that's a fallacy, though.
What do you mean?
Like, I can't really explain cancel culture because now sponsors and these big companies, they will put you on the shelf before you are like officially like canceled. Like, so like, for example, when I think of cancel culture, I think of like Harvey Weinstein, and I'm not talking about the act of what he did. I'm talking about like there's a chance he probably won't work in Hollywood again. You know, compared to you saying something, and because social media is so accessible, you can get people's opinion immediately. And I think businesses look at people's opinion and be like, it doesn't help us or serve us, rather, to go on business with you. Like, I think of the baby and what he said. And what you realize that all these concerts just started, all these music festivals just started like canceling him. Like don't come. Not even because of the people who was going to be at that festival was going to be mad at him. But you got these sponsors who got names like on these festivals. So they're like, nah, it's not worth it. Like we're not even getting to the point of like you actually being canceled. It's like, whoa, you said something in opposition of this. Let's chill, dude. You get what I'm saying? So that's why I'm like, that's why I view it more as backlash, to where it's like, because when I think of Dave, I'm just using him as a example. It's hard to cancel someone who turned down $50 million. Like Dave is only a comedian. Dude, you get what I'm saying? He's not out here he's not working at GameStop. You know what I mean? He's not working at Walmart. He's not trying to do movies, as far as I know. He's doing comedy with his people, and he got his one company. And my thing is, if that company is willing to work with you, he only need one company, and they like, we got you. Like, that's why I'm like, is it really canceling, or is it just the comment section having a voice? I think it's just more of the comment section just having a voice, and people don't know how to handle that, like in like today's world.
Yeah, I think, I guess it really depends on what you mean by canceling culture, right? Because I mean, maybe Backlash is part of cancel culture. Like,
is it though?
You don't gotta be fully canceled. I mean, the baby, is he fully canceled? I mean, he's not performing on a bunch of festivals, so he's canceled for the festival tours for 2021. He did. That's kind of canceled.
He came out with 50 Cent doing Rolling Loud. So, but he wasn't booked.
So he's kind of canceled.
Yeah.
And then Dave Chappelle, he's trying to shop this movie around. People are now afraid to even be anywhere near that movie. He's kind of canceled. So it's not like you have to be, I don't know if you have to be fully canceled for you to be a part of cancel culture.
Yeah.
But I think that's also a good thing. Because I think you said something before in a previous podcast where you was like, I don't know, maybe it wasn't even a podcast. Maybe it was just one of our conversations. It was like, I think a lot of times people don't stand by what they said because they don't really mean what they say. And so I think if you're going to be saying certain things, I think cancel culture needs to exist. Because I think you need to feel, especially if you're saying something that is going against the grain.
I see what you're saying. Like,
you need to feel a little bit hurt so we could really know if you really stand by what you're saying or not. Because some people will fold. They're just like, oh, the classic, I was hacked. Or
I'm definitely using that.
I was hacked, or like, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't really mean it. It's like, okay, well, now you have to be a little bit more conscious. And that's something that I'm working on too. Because, I mean, if this were to blow up, then I have to be more conscious and more sure about what I'm saying versus just like talking in the ether and just hoping it makes sense.
That kind of leads me to think, like, how many things do we say that we really don't mean? Like, because to me, like, a comedian's job is not so much to say what he believes. It's to say the joke. So,
but do we really believe that though?
Do we really believe what?
Like, I feel like certain people quote comedians like it's a pastor or like a a writer.
I mean, but
like the whole like.
I think that's new.
Is that new? People did it with Chris Rock.
No. But I think when it comes to comedians, right? Back in the day, if I'm not mistaken, like, I used to quote jokes all the time from comedians, right? But while I was quoting these jokes, I never thought like this is how he really feels. I'm thinking like he just.
So we don't believe that Cat Williams believed that Michael Jackson really did it.
I don't think
he believes.
But my thing is like,
Okay.
but that's not my point of trying to subject them to be like, do you believe what you really say? Like, I think even doing that to comedians take away their job. Like, their job is to find the funny in whatever situation. Like, you have comedians who take a subject and they embellish it or exaggerate it to make it funny to prove a point. I think Dave is ushering in, and even Chris Rock in some factors, I listened to Dave Chappelle last special, and I'm like, he's just talking. Like it's barely any jokes, at least to me, right? He just talking. He just basically giving like a sermon, you know? But that's not how comedians was back in the day. Like, comedians told jokes, and as long as people was laughing, that was the objective of a comedian, not to make me like critical think, not to make me, and I think that's the genius of Dave Chappelle and Chris Rock and so forth. But listening to a comedian when they say things and things like that, even like when they like go over the line, I'm not thinking, oh, he really believes that, let me get my stuff and walk out. I'm thinking, oh, he's just being dramatic to be funny. So that's why I'm like, yeah. Do you feel like they really believe it?
I don't know if I feel like the comedians that really believe what they're saying are the ones that are probably the funniest. Like, I think what's his name? What's the big guy? Patrice.
Yeah.
I think he believes 99% what he says.
Okay, yeah. But
Bill Burr, I think he believes 99% what he says.
But they're not every comedian though. Like,
who's the every comedian?
When you hear a comedian talk about hitting his girl or hitting his wife and things like that, do you believe that he
yes.
did? Okay.
I think Kevin Hart used to beat up his ex-wife.
I'm not sticking to that at all.
You don't think so? You don't think they really fought?
No. Kevin Hart said his ex-wife, right? Mm-hmm. While he was driving, she hid in his trunk of his car. And then he opened the trunk and she popped out and took off running back to the house. To me, I'm like, that is hilarious because he's building an image in my head. I'm not thinking she really was in his trunk.
Yeah,
But my whole point is, like, you expect the president to say the truth when he speaks. Mm-hmm. You expect, like, somebody, like a doctor, when they talking about, you hope when they talking about whatever sickness or, like, whatever's going on, that, oh, believe what you're saying, it's the truth. I don't look at comedians as, like...
Yes, I mean... The stories, yes, but the message behind the story, I think they believe it.
But some people don't. But that's what I'm saying. Like, those messages, like Patrice, Bill Burr, Dave Chappelle, even Louis C.K. to some point, they have a message. There's other comedians who's just out there. I just want to make you laugh. I don't have a message, but to make you laugh. I don't know. Maybe just me. I put it like this. I don't go to my comedian looking for truth. Or looking for if they believe what they say. I'm strictly looking at whatever you say, is it funny? And maybe that's wrong, but that's how I always looked at comedians. I never looked at comedians as, do you believe that? Is that story true? I'm like, that's hilarious. That's all I think about.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. I'm trying to see which comedians that are that tell jokes that don't believe what they say.
Okay, well, maybe
outside Kevin Hart,
but maybe the conversation, and like I said, I don't want to put the spotlight on Kevin Hart, but maybe the conversation I'm trying to have is, should a comedian believe what he say, and should his job be to tell the truth when he go up there and speak? For example, we're doing a podcast. We're not comedians. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So I can't go up there and on this podcast, even though I do not talk like this privately to you, mm-hmm. I can't get on the podcast just for entertainment and be like, and say the F word and say things that will insult a community. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Especially since I don't talk like that privately.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm a podcaster. But I don't think that is for comedians, though. I think their job is to be funny. Compared to a podcaster job, is to say what's on your mind. And I don't have the burden of, oh, I'm trying to make you laugh when you listen to me.
I mean, I get that. I think I agree with you to a certain degree, but I think and so to touch on that a little bit.
Yeah.
I think most comedians, though, they tap into a truth. Like I think every joke has some type of truth in it.
Of course.
And so they tap into a truth. They build up these premises where people like, yeah, okay, I agree. Or they be like, oh, what? Well, you going crazy.
Yeah.
And so if it's I agree, they go into like a crazy mode, which is that switch where it's like the punchline is just off the rails.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, I ain't see that coming. Or the other way when it's like, whoa, this he's wilding. Why are you talking like this? And then they hit you with the truth, where it's not the crazy mode. It's like you all these crazy things, but this, like for example, with Dave Chappelle when he's talking about the white girl going missing, why she didn't escape, this, that, and third.
Yeah.
But then he tells the story about the black girl who was able to escape, came back to her house, did all these things, and they was the same age, but nobody talked about the black girl, but everybody was worried about the white girl. And so he built up the white girl story where it's like, wait, you're not allowed to say this, but then he hits you with the truth. And I think for most comedians, for most comedians, they do that where they add the truth there somewhere into the joke.
Yeah.
And I don't think if you don't believe the truth that you're putting into that joke, then why are you selling the joke?
It's probably not gonna work. I feel
well, it might work, but why you even tell the joke? Like you don't even believe the joke.
It might be funny.
But how's it funny if you don't believe it? Like I maybe that's my takeaway. It's like
no, and the reason why I brought comedians up is not to put a spotlight on comedians. Mm-hmm. I'm going on to your point that you said previously about you think cancel culture is a good thing when it comes to people speaking because it kind of forces people to like really say what they believe. It's like a check and balances in a way. But I'm like, if your job is to make people laugh, right? Mm-hmm. Should that rule, should you abide by that rule as well?
Okay, cool. So if your job is to make people laugh,
yeah,
why are you offending anybody? Your job is to make people laugh. Mm-hmm. Why are people come out? And I feel like this whole like.
So basically, you
comedians are because people keep saying this. Comedians are allowed to say anything. Why? Your job is to make us laugh. Why do you get the free range to say anything? That doesn't make any sense. Why not the philosopher? The philosopher should be the person to say anything because they're the ones that making us think, make us really question, and then.
But to your point, comedians can be philosophers.
So now they're philosophers.
No, I'm saying to your point.
Okay.
I'm not saying they are.
I agree. If they're philosophers, cool. But then it goes back to the number one saying is that you really need to believe what you're saying. If you're a philosopher, comedian, quote unquote, then you're gonna have the backlash, but you need to believe what you're saying. So that's my whole takeaway.
No, I definitely agree. I'm just giving you some pushback, just trying to give you some perspective.
Yeah, you see,
okay,
podcast.
I'm about to say the camera's right there.
Okay, I did point to the TV. But yeah, I think you either this whole thing about comedians need to be able to say whatever they want to say and not have any backlash or people not be upset to the point where they want to take they should want to take it off.
You don't believe in that, like you can say whatever you say.
No.
Okay.
Because then I think yes, your job as a comedian is to be funny, right? That's your number one job, and if you're a top comedian, you should be able to make anything funny.
You're right, though. I do agree with that point. Cat Williams said something across the line of, and I'm paraphrasing. Mm-hmm. So, when they was asking him about, do you feel like you have to change some of your content based off of like how society is different? He's basically like, I'm paraphrasing, so please forgive me if I got something wrong. He basically was like, the job of comedian is to like know what the line is and to get as close as possible to it.
Exactly.
Without crossing it. So he's like, basically he was saying, I'm good enough to be like, oh, is that what it is? I'm still going to be funny. I'm not going to be like, oh, buck the system and and just be like, I'm going to say whatever I want because it's the only way that I'm funny. Yeah. To your point, if you're a comedian and your job is to make people laugh, then why are you out there offending people?
Yeah.
But to be honest, can we be honest? Mm-hmm. Offending people is funny. Offending people is funny, bro. Like,
is it though?
It is.
Is it if there's no truth behind it? If there's no truth behind it, is it funny?
I don't know. Because
Because there's no truth. It was like
Who? But
that guy that was just up on stage, even though it's hilarious to me, but even that guy that was up on stage from Seinfeld that was just like, N-word, N-word, N-word. He was just screaming the N-word.
Oh, Kramer.
Yeah. So, but is that okay? Like,
you found it funny just now.
yeah, but it was more laughing at him than laughing with him. It was just like, you're a wild man.
If you was in the comedy club that night, you would have been laughing.
But I would be also canceling. Like, this man got to go.
So basically,
no, he can't come back on stage no more. This man
cancel by day, laughter by night. Basically,
yep.
You laughing in the club, and then the next morning,
I'm like,
you write a think piece like,
no more Kramer. That's a fact.
But it's tricky. Like, I don't think people would really find that. I don't think people are willing to be that honest. That offending people is funny. We talk about ourselves in a joking matter.
Yeah.
We talk about white people in a joking matter. And I'm not talking about just us. I'm talking about just society. And I think people view it as this. People view it as, how come we can't talk about gay people? How come we can't talk about transgender? Right? But it's tricky. It's a tricky situation, right?
Okay.
Because we saying, hey, it's jokes. And they saying, we're getting killed. Like, so, like, it's like, yo. It's
no,
like,
this is violence.
Like, what? Because when somebody says to an Asian person that they can't drive, right? They laugh it off, right? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is not counting from the time months back when Asians were getting attacked. Like this is like the universal joke I heard throughout my whole life, right? But for some people, it don't go past the laughter when they hear the F word pertaining to a gay person. When it talks about a transgender person and how they are and which pronouns to use. And when Dave Chappelle was like, they are after you, and he was like, is it one they or is it like they?
Sorry,
Dude, you see what I mean? So, but for you, I know you personally.
Yeah.
It stops there. Dude, you get what I'm saying? Yeah. Like you chuckle at it and then you move on.
Yeah.
Like, and that's where it stops for me. But for some people take it too far. Like, yeah, I hate the days. And you're like, whoa. It's like, yo, relax. Like, yo, relax.
This man's like the Joker in the club.
Yo, it's like, I hate the days. Kill them all. You're like, wait a minute.
Wait.
So
get him out
that's why I can say, from my opinion, you say your job is to make people laugh. You shouldn't be offending people.
Yeah.
And I say offending people is funny. Me and my sister have a type of relationship where we offend each other every day, and we be laughing at each other. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but is it offending though?
What do you mean? It's the only reason why it's not offense. It could be taken as offense as long as one person take it that way. I'm saying offending things to my sister, to my loved ones.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I think there has to be a level of trust and love there, right? So, for example, with black people can say anything about. You could talk about crack people, you could talk about pimps, you could talk about. But because he's black, there's a level of trust and love that they know. Like, okay, he's not no like coon, like he's not really out here just going in. Like he's telling jokes from a place of love and trust. And then also, but if a white person, for example, were to go up there and say some jokes about black people,
y'all history do not support your jokes.
Like there was this one woman, again, I thought it was funny, but people didn't find it funny. There was this one woman that was joking about not Tekashi, what's the other guy? XXXTentacion.
Oh, okay.
And
R.I.P.
And he got robbed in Miami in his Lamborghini because he had like a whole bunch of bags of cash to buy a new car. So he had a whole bunch of bags of cash. So the joke goes, she's like, yeah, I just heard about this rapper XXXTentacion. he got robbed because he had like a couple $100,000 on him. Did he not hear about Cash App?
Oh, okay. Why?
Sorry.
I'm not laughing at Doug. I'm laughing at you.
I need therapy.
Okay.
Anyways, but people were highly offended. One, because it was like a white woman talking about how a black person doesn't know about Cash App, and it's like, and you don't quite understand. And so there was not a level of trust there. Whereas if it was somebody else, it might have. It was like a black male.
If a black person said that joke, we might be. I might say something controversial.
Yeah, go ahead.
If a black person would have said that joke, would we laugh?
Mm-hmm.
You think so?
We laughed about my man going all around the world.
Yeah, but at the same time,
and committing suicide.
Okay, but at the same time, right? You laughed at Kramer saying the N-word because it's just awkward, it's just funny, it's just like out of the norm. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But for a black person, it's kind of like, okay, you might get a chuckle out of me, but it's probably funnier from a white person, from that white lady, or you probably find it funny. I haven't seen it because it's like, do you supposed to be saying this? Or
no, it was. I thought it was a good structured joke.
I mean, I gotta watch it.
Yeah.
Another video came out recently. There was this white lady who was doing this Native American.
Oh yeah.
That joint was, but that's what I'm saying.
That wasn't a joke though.
But that's what I'm saying.
I don't know what that was.
People, that wasn't an attempt to be funny. Do you get what I'm saying? So, is there any grace for someone who attempt is to be funny compared to the other one who was being like big offensive to Native Americans? To where it's like, oh, we definitely go cancel that lady who did the Native American joint because like she was just out of pocket, right? But this other person who was talking about this Cash App joke, just using her as an example, I haven't heard the joke. She was trying to be funny. You know, like we don't really know how she feels because she's just trying to be funny. So do you feel like using that cancel culture boundary for check and balances, do we cancel both of them and then just leave it be? Or do we just like give the one that's trying to be funny grace compared to the other?
I mean, I think when people are getting canceled, a lot of things are revealed, right? Okay. So you start to see the patterns of certain people. And that really, solidifies or, solidifies the cancellation or prevents the cancellation or just mitigates it. So for Dave, people are trying to cancel him. But Dave been a decent human being for most of his career. Like, it's not a lot of effed up things Dave did.
None that I know of.
Outside just doing these specials, right, for the trans and LGBTQ community. That's the only real thing that they have on Dave.
Yeah.
Whereas like I'm trying to think of somebody else that's used who's been canceled recently.
Was Kevin Hart ever canceled?
Yeah.
For like the Oscar joint?
Yeah. But even Kevin Hart. So
let's use Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah, that's too
Is that
I mean that's
He is a comedian.
Yeah, but he really was doing things.
Oh, okay, sorry.
but like if you use the baby, right?
Okay.
So the baby, yes, his first offense was like the what was it, the stuff that he said on stage.
Yeah.
But then you start going back and you start seeing, oh wait, he hit a woman once. He did this before. He did that. So it's like
that's a.
You started to build up a case.
But that's a weird case though because hitting women and compared to what you said out there on that stage, those are two different offenses. Even though, like,
that's true.
Like, so it's like,
so let's make up somebody.
So okay, so, and basically what I mean. Matter of fact, go ahead with your thing, and then I'll straight come back to.
So let's say there was another person out here who did the same thing that the baby did, but then you start to go through his past, and you start seeing tweets that were homophobic. He said something in an interview once that was it was a
little tricky,
but it was still like homophobic territory. He started, there was another time where like somebody said that, he has no gay people backing him up. At least like Kevin Hart had
Ellen.
Ellen. He has no gay people saying, yeah, he's an okay guy. You know? So I think that was whoever that guy was, that would solidify his cancellation, because it's like, oh no, this man's really homophobic.
Let me take your example and switch it up.
Yeah.
What if this imaginary person says something homophobic, and you found out that he really support gay people, right? But you find out all the other bad things though, like he hit women, he don't respect other people and things like that. Basically, like a whole,
like he's a bad person.
Like he's a bad person, but at least he's not homophobic. Like, so basically, you saying, to your example, I'm just using this. You said maybe it can solidify the cancel because it can prove that you're a bad person. But what if he is a bad person, this imaginary person, but it comes out he's not really homophobic? Like he has a gay sister, he has a gay brother, he gives to the gay community, but he's a bad person.
Well, that's probably gonna come out. like our boy, not our boy, but the guy that got the coach from I forgot what he was coaching, but the coach that got kicked out of the NFL recently.
Oh, John Gruden.
Yeah, so they found out he was a bad person.
He was wilding, bro.
I don't know if he's a bad person, but he was wilding on those emails. He might be a nice guy in person and just had these crazy thoughts. But
can I bring it back to Dave for 1 second?
Yeah.
Do you believe the LGBTQ plus community trusts Dave?
I don't think so.
Because you said like that, like Dave has shown himself to, as a comedian, to go for the joke, to go at certain cases, at certain, I'm not gonna say groups, but certain situations that may have been big during that time that he may have been given that special or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So when it comes to trust, you feel like there's a mistrust to the community between him and that community. So when he does meet with them, because Dave said in his last special that he's not going to talk about them ever again, and
we'll see.
He kind of talked about them.
Oh yeah, he did.
It's kind of crazy, but
I guess it wasn't special.
No, it wasn't. So I should give him a pass. What do you expect? Just from your opinion, like, cause I don't know, and you're better at this than I am. What that conversation you think will be like between when he finally meet with that community and himself? Like, dude, you think he's gonna be defensive? Dude, like, you think he's gonna be? Is he gonna?
I don't think it's gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. It's like, what? I've never seen Dave Chappelle outside the stage. I never seen him on no panels.
But he lives in Ohio, bro. So.
Exactly. I never seen him on any panels. I probably saw him on 2 interviews before, and then maybe he was on late night specials back in the day. But like, I don't really see Dave Chappelle out and about like that. Like, and then what they're gonna do? It's gonna be like a camera phone that's recording this. I don't even think they're gonna really record the whole meeting. So I don't know. Either it's gonna happen behind closed doors. But let's say it does happen. So,
I don't think it's gonna happen.
But let's say it does happen. It could go 2 ways. It could be Dave Chappelle, getting yelled at and people crying. No, I'm serious, because that's our liberals, right? People crying, people saying that you're harming us. This is violence. It could go really like crazy for Dave.
Yeah.
Or the other one could be Dave going a little crazy, like, y'all don't understand. And, he probably talking to black people that was who were LGBT. Like, I'm for you guys. I'm trying to protect you guys for them. And then point to the white trans people. But I don't know. I don't know how that to be honest, I don't know how that conversation.
I don't know what's the point. Like,
I don't know if there is a point.
I don't know what's the point. I don't know if there should be a point. Like, the special's already out. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So
he has his list of demands. He says, like, we'll meet, but you gotta watch my special in totality. And we meet at the location of my choice. Okay, he sounded like, Batman, you know what I mean?
The Joker.
Yeah, like, and I just don't know. Like, I think of solutions in the sense of like, I don't see them saying, "Oh, we cool with the special now, dude." You get what I'm saying? It's kind of like there's nothing that you can say really, in my opinion. That's why I'm like, I'm very interested to see what he gonna say. That gonna make you go, "Oh, I get you, Dave. Those other 4 specials you did, I got you." You know what I mean? I'm not offended anymore. Like, people who are offended,
they stay offended.
They stay offended.
Yeah.
And people who do the offense or feel whatever they feel, I don't want to just say offense, but if they really feel this way, and he's like, I'm a comedian, you're not going to silence me and tell me what I can and can't say when I'm doing my job. He's not going to back down. Like the only thing that could come from it, that's why I'm very interested, is for them to say, hey, don't say that anymore. And as a comedian, he gonna be like, I say what I want. That what makes me Dave Chappelle, is that I say things what other people don't say. You know what I mean? So that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah, it's yeah, I don't know if I agree with that, because I'm like,
you don't agree with what?
It's like there was a video you sent me where the guy was like, "Yo, you one of the top comedians in the world,
Yeah,
if not the greatest of all time.
Yeah,
You have the skill set.
It depends, though.
It does it.
It does, because
you have the skill set to make these jokes funny.
But the skill set is built in who I am. Like, basically, like, if I take away something that I do or who I am, it's not, like, for example, I play music, right? Mm-hmm. I'm not a comedian where I'm talking my thoughts. Like, I can play a song that I don't like and not even be invested in it, but because of the skill, I can do it. But if his skill is to speak what he feels and what he believes in a way that is funny, then, like, you basically telling him, basically taking a percentage of what he believes in and saying, hey, don't say that.
You could believe in it,
but don't say it.
You could say it, but try to make it funny to the people that you're talking about. Like white people who audience are mostly black. They do it all the time.
Yeah,
they do it all the time. And sometimes it's like, where are you going with this joke? But they're able to touch that line and just skim through it without going all the way. Like, even Bill Burr does it.
Bill Burr does. Larry David do it. I was watching the old Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he said the N-word. That's wild. but apparently, y'all trust Larry. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So it's like,
so there's ways you could do it.
I think,
and for the greatest of all, we're not talking about a regular comedian.
No. We talk about the greatest of all time.
Greatest of all time. So for you not to have the ability to,
I don't think that's fair, though. But go ahead.
It's not.
I don't think it's fair.
Why is it not fair?
I don't think it's like, oh, what you already do is hard because you're the greatest and you're proven to be the greatest through what you already did is hard. We're going to make it harder. And you have to prove yourself to be.
We're not saying make it harder. You chose to go down this path.
No.
If you're going to go down this path and talk about LGBTQ community,
this is what I do. Patrice O'Neal, R.I.P. What made Patrice O'Neal is that he says things that nobody says.
But most people agree with it.
But so basically, you're judging it based on the response?
Yes. That's what comedy is.
I get that. But I'm saying in the sense of, if he was to change, if somebody was to say, you know what, we don't like it. A group of people said, we don't like what you do, right? You have to change it. I don't think Patrice O'Neal was the type, I may be wrong, he'd be like, this is the type of comedy I do. I'm this type of person. I'm not the Kevin Hart type of person that get up there and talk about my family and things like that. I'm not like the Bill Burr person that get up there and talk about my dog and talk about my black wife. I'm not that guy. Yeah. I'm the guy that talks about, I have a girlfriend that has a girlfriend and I have a girlfriend. There's 3 of us. You know, it's 4 of us and we all be getting it in. You know what I mean? I'm the type of guy that be basically giving pimp quotes and things like that. Basically, like, keep your girl in line and calling them out their names and things like that. But the thing that made me great, you're telling me to change that. And you don't even, and you're not even acknowledging that is what made me the greatest of all time.
You keep saying change that. We saying make what you do funny in today's age. That's all you saying. Like,
tricky.
You're the. This is not. We're not talking. Okay,
but
let's say you're the best drummer of all time.
I am.
Okay, you are the best drummer of all time.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, put the bass without having a bass.
Put the bass without having a bass.
Yeah, you're the best drummer of all time. Make me. I want to hear a bass without the real bass. Figure out a way. If you're the best drummer of all time, you already know. Cause you're the best drummer of all. You know how to make sounds. You know how to make things.
Yeah, but that's stupid. Because what qualified me to be the best drummer? What qualifies someone to be the best whatever is what they done. Mm-hmm. So you're basically saying, hey, you're the best. Hey, what made you the best was those offensive things you said too. What made you the best was
was Dave ever offensive though? Until recently,
he spoke his mind.
But was he offensive?
Listen, anybody could have took offense to what he said throughout any of his specials, but they didn't.
Wait.
But they didn't.
Because he made them funny. He made those jokes funny.
People are laughing at... Okay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Because comedy doesn't start off as a finished product. Okay. The first parts are pretty offensive. And people are like, that ain't really land well. That didn't land. And what they do, they go back, they do some edits. Until they make the joke that was like, into something that everybody's laughing at. Why can't Dave do that about the same people he's talking about? That's all I'm asking. Like, yeah, it is for those people. I don't know why.
Yeah.
And if you can't do that, why are you telling it?
I mean, I guess that's fair to ask.
Like, why even tell the joke if you can't even make the people that you telling the joke about laugh? Like, that's like if a white person, now I keep saying white people, but if a white person told a joke about black people and black people didn't find it funny, you need to go back to the drawing book. I don't care if all the white people are laughing in the club.
Yeah, I feel you.
If the black people aren't laughing at the joke, you messed up. You missed the mark.
I just don't think it's fair to tell someone who is proven to be the greatest of all time, right? Because the elements that made him the greatest of all time, those are also the same elements that you are telling them to eliminate or to cultivate and change in some factor. You know what I mean?
You think Jordan would be
so let me use Michael Jordan for example, and I'm just going to be wild, right? Michael Jordan's the greatest of all time, right? Mm-hmm. He got 2 hands, 10 fingers, as far as I know. Mm-hmm. They say we're gonna take away 3 of your fingers. You gonna have
Whoa, that's not fair.
No. Wait. No, I'm just saying, and maybe I'm dramatic with it. Yeah, that's not the same. We gonna take away 3 of your fingers, but you're the best of all time. Figure it out. You have 7 fingers, and I'm like, yo. Parts of things that make me greatest of all time is that I talk about this.
That's not fair.
Because
not everybody.
Sometimes
does everybody in the league have 3 fingers?
Do everybody in the league got 7 fingers?
3. Is he have 7 fingers?
No.
Then how's that relevant to today? Because everybody's playing around the same rules that
everybody's not considered the greatest of all time.
Okay, but everybody's playing the same rules. You change the rule I'm playing a different
game than most people.
You change the rule just for Michael Jordan. That's not what's happening. The rules are changed for everybody today. That's true. So what I would say, the analogy I would put is, would Michael Jordan be the greatest if he played in today's game?
Yes. He would, though.
And the rules have changed a lot.
Yeah.
You can't do what you was doing back then. The rules have changed a lot. Would Michael Jordan be the greatest right now? The greatest of all time, they are the greatest for a reason. Because it doesn't matter what the rules are.
So basically the rules didn't make them the greatest of all time. They're
the greatest. Yeah. They find a way to make their jokes.
That's fair. That's fair. You got me. I'm caught.
All right.
I'm caught.
All right, I'll stop then.
You got me.
I don't want to.
Mama raised a good man. You got me.
All right.
But anything else on the whole cancel culture? Is cancel culture still real? Do you still think it's very real and things like that?
Yeah. I think it depends on what you did.
Is it good?
If you're touching little girls,
I mean,
we're getting you out here. You're out. But like if you're
but even something that the intent could be different or even good rather, can it go too far?
What do you mean?
Because it seems like from my perspective that people are just looking to be offended.
Yeah. And those things don't.
And how do you justify those?
But those things don't last.
Okay.
Do they? They don't really last.
They basically just trend on Twitter for a day and then go away.
People say, "Oh, you fat shaming." Okay, and then like
And then
2 weeks later, nobody's talking.
nobody
about
thinking
this,
about you.
But if you keep like the thing is, if it's a pattern, like you fat shaming once, they try to cancel you. Nothing happens. You fat shaming again. You just keep. It's like okay, this guy, he's a weirdo.
We got to take you out the game, bro.
This guy's a weirdo. Like why you keep talking about? Like relax. Like okay, you said one thing one time.
Yeah.
Now you keep saying it. And I think that's kind of what's happening with Dave because Dave he kind of slipped out with Stick and Stones. Like nobody really. Then now it's like okay, I think the LGBT they all like okay, enough is enough.
And I ain't gonna hold you though. To your point, and a lot of people, well, not a lot, a good number of people disagree with me. This is not peak Dave Chappelle to me. Like old Dave was funnier than this Dave because like I feel like I told you privately, I said I don't feel like Dave really be telling jokes like that anymore. I feel like you find the funny in what he's saying. Like he's showing, like basically he's guiding you to the funny and letting you laugh. Basically, like here, laugh at that. Besides telling you, knock knock, who's there? I'm a comedian, laugh at my jokes. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not saying he did not jokes, but he told funny jokes. But now that I didn't laugh at a joke one time at his recent special.
Oh wow!
I laughed at premises. I laughed like
okay.
Like I laugh like, oh dang, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Oh, why is he going at the Jewish community like this? This is crazy. You get what I'm saying? Like that. But to Dave's point, I think Dave have a point, and it's up to him to be clear in his message because he's a comedian and he's a speaker, right? I think when he said that he's jealous of them, I think if he would have led with that, like 4 specials ago, like
I think he
like you don't think he believe that, dude? You think,
I mean, maybe,
dude. You think he do like?
But it wasn't that clear.
Yeah, no, it wasn't clear at all. So that's why I'm like, that's why I said to you on the phone, I was like, I think he's peeing on us and calling it rain, because listen here, he's smart enough to like change it up. You get what I'm saying? So like when he say he's jealous, and if he would have led with that, I can agree to that, or I can see that perspective of how come when we talk about white community, but black people been enslaved and been going through all this stuff, and we are the butt of the joke all the time and things like that, and y'all haven't been through what we've been through and things like that, and I guess he's just trying to get to the point of being unified, like how they have formed themselves to be, how even the Jewish community is, and things like that, to where nobody want to touch that joke. Yeah. And I think Dave was doing that to be that obnoxious with the joke, with the punchline, to bring it home at the end of like communities and like y'all have declared yourselves to be this untouchable group. But when it comes down to, let's say, when you get stopped by the cops and things like that, you can easily switch off and be like, hey, I am a white person. I am not black, depending on who you are. Everybody's story is different. But I don't know. I really don't know if cancel culture is good. I honestly don't really even know what cancel culture is anymore.
Yeah, me either.
I think it's just a group of people in the comment section just saying what they believe, because I do believe in power to the people. But
I think it's really just the people who don't have that structured community and the people that don't have like those like not figureheads, but those gatekeepers that are part of their community.
Okay, that makes sense.
So like the Jewish community is not going crazy on Twitter because they got enough people in power to really make things happen.
I see what you're saying.
Whereas like black women, they got a couple people, but are they really batting for the black woman, the everyday black woman? Probably not. So when Dove released a commercial where the white woman is washing off and then changed into a black woman, the black woman gonna rise up, and hopefully my black males too. Shout out to all my black males that stand with their black woman. I see you, Barack. Sorry. But yeah, but they use social media. They use these other avenues to really make these companies say, "Whoa, what are you doing? Like, you can't just be like that's not that was a little close to whitewashing. Like that was crazy." So I think these social media and a lot of these things are just giving a voice to people who don't have a voice in places. Like, even the Chinese community, not Chinese community, the Asian community. They usually don't do a lot of protesting because they have these structures and these communities already set up where they influence government. Maybe not on like a direct level, but they lobby a lot of these people in law.
It makes sense.
So,
but anything else you want to share? Anything else you want to get off your chest?
Nah, man.
I feel like it was a good conversation. I feel like we gonna probably visit this conversation much more. Cause Dave probably will come up with another video this week.
Hopefully not.
I hope to. I hope he just let it go.
Yeah, he just disappeared for a while.
But make sure y'all follow us on Twitter, on Instagram. You thought I was gonna say Facebook, but on Meta, you know what I mean? On LinkedIn, are we on LinkedIn? You ain't know we.
Nah, I didn't know that.
You ain't know we was on
LinkedIn, man.
Yeah. So, other than that, man, I feel like you gonna say something.
Nah, man.
You was pointing at the camera.
Nah, I'm just pointing at all my LinkedIn people.
Okay. LinkedIn trying to be like Twitter. I be seeing.
Really?
Yeah, they trying to have.
Not like Facebook. I thought it was like work Facebook.
It's like work Twitter in a way.
Interesting.
It's not. They're not as funny as Twitter is though.
Well, it's work people. You don't want to be telling crazy jokes to your colleagues.
But we see y'all again next week, man. Blessings.
All right.